Hello everyone! I'm Teacher Melissa and I'm your companion for an hour. We will take the path of journey to the world of advanced programming. At the end of this lesson, you are expected to identify common controls, define graphical user interface, and identify the parts of a form. Define and give example of properties, methods, and events. Differentiate property and control. We will find out what is graphical user interface. But before that, let's have a recall about the previous lesson. Visual Basic 2010 Express is an integrated development environment. It enables developers to create applications that are easy to use and easy to learn. Visual Basic 2010 is a programming language and Visual Basic 2010 Express is a programming tool. Why IDE? Because it combines all the major functions of the program to create, such as the design. We use design to accept input from the user, to complete action, or to display information from the user. Coding, a programmer are the one who will make the code. Compilation is used to translate code into a machine-readable language for execution. We use debugging to remove errors. Are you ready? Let's play guessing game. These are the most popular user interface component. Can you identify what is shown in this video? Yes, you get the correct answer. How about the next video? Can you identify what the arrow is pointing out? Excellent! You have identified the checkbox. What did you notice in the next video? What do you call in these different types of buttons? Yes, that's great. These are different types of controls. And for the last one, all products have this. Can you identify what the arrow is pointing out? Excellent. These are examples of labels. Now, let's search and explore the commonly used visual interface components in Visual Basic. Oops, there's more. Do you know visual interface component? Interface component is a device or a program that enables a user to communicate with a computer using mouse and keyboard. The next lesson that we will study is about the commonly used graphical user interface. If the Photoshop has a canvas, in Visual Basic it is called form. Without form, there is no user interface. Why? Because all graphical user interface are placed inside the form. This is an example of a form. You can adjust the size of this form by simply dragging it sidewards or downwards through the use of a mouse. Are the parts of a form? We have the title, title bar, control box, border, and the form area. These are the description of the parts of the form. Title, it displays the text of a form. Title bar, it is consists of the title and the control box. Control box or resizing and exit button, it is located at the right side of the corner of a form and you can expand, collapse, and close this form. Border, it is the boundary edge of the form. You can use the mouse to resize the form and adjust it to your desired size. Form area, it is the workspace or surface where you can drag and place the controls. Based on our discussion, how do you understand form? Yes? Well defined. Form serves as a container for all the controls that make up the user interface. Do you know what can be placed inside the form? That's what we will find out in the next video. But before that, let's start the Visual Basic application. The Start button. From the Start menu, select Visual Basic application. You may use any version of Visual Basic. On the Start page, select New Project. From the Windows dialog box, select Window Forms Application. Enter your desired file name in the name box, then tick OK. The Visual Studio will create a default form for you. So that is how to create form in Visual Basic. Window Forms application is used to create applications that use Graphical User Interface or GUI. The Visual Studio will create a default form for you. Now that you know how to create form, do you know how to place controls in this form? Let us study how to copy and place label controls in this form. Go to the toolbox, select Label Control, and drag it to the form. To copy the control, position your mouse to the label control, right-click, then copy, then paste it to your desired location. Can you state the method used to place the controls over the form? We use drag and drop method to place the controls over the form. Form serves as a container for all the controls that make up the user interface. Have you learned how to place controls over the form? If you say yes, it's time to go to the next user interface. This is the most popular user interface component. It is used to generate the click event. The text on a button indicates action that it will initiate. Do you have an idea about the name of this tool? What do you call to the user interface component added to the form? Yes, that's great. Clicking on a button initiates action associated with a button. Now, let's add another control to the form. You're great on your quick action. This box is used to input text and display text as an output. A computer user can type the data or paste the control from the clipboard. This is another control that you may add to the form. What are the commonly used interface components? The often used visual interface components or graphical user interface components are form, labels, text box, button, and checkbox. What are the elements of Visual Basic controls? Who can define property? Kindly read the definition of property. If you set the property by using the property window, it means you are using the IDE through the use of Window Forms application of Visual Basic. An example of this is the save method of the form control, which is used to save the form, or the enter method of the form control, used to enter or type data on the form. Event are what happen when an object does something or when an action is performed. Another example here is the dog. Dog is the object. Properties can be the body color. It could be brown or red. Another property, the type of ears. You can use the long or rounded ears or short or pointed ears. The height of the dog is 1 foot or 6 inches. Method here is move, bark, wag tail. When the dog hears sound, the dog might move, or when the dog hears the bell ringing, the dog might bark, or in the event of the dog seeing food, the dog might wag its tail. Another example is the ball. Properties of the ball can be a color and a kind, if it is made in plastic or rubber ball, and the size of the ball, if it is small or big. Methods can be bounce back. In the event of when you throw the ball bounce back. How do you understand method? State your idea of how you understand event. This is the table or list of common controls and properties. On the second column is the description or characteristic of each controls. In the column of properties, you will see the list of properties of each control that can be changed or modified. For example, in the text box control, you can change its name, text, font in the property window. You can change the name of a text box, kind of text, and font. For example, in the characteristic or attributes of font in the font family, we have the font size, font style, or the font color. In the enabled property of label and button control, it can be an active or inactive button. It depends on the program applied on it. And in the fourth column are the sample or usage of how it will be used in the property window. If you will create control of user interface, such as the button, label, and so on, what is the application that can be used? You get the correct answer, that is, Windows Forms application of Visual Basic. Can you differentiate control and property? Control, it is a medium used where the user interacts with an application, while property of a control defines its appearance, attributes, value, or characteristic, which describe the object. Based on our discussion, can you define graphical user interface? It is a visual way of interacting with a computer using items such as windows, icons, and menus, used by most modern operating systems. How does the graphical user interface works? All graphical user interface or GUI use icons, windows, and menus to initiate action or commands, such as deleting or moving files. These are examples of graphical user interface. How does the user interact with the graphical user interface? We can communicate with the computer through the use of mouse and keyboard. Mouse is used to click the icons, buttons, and menus, while the keyboard is used to enter the command or shortcut key or use the arrow keys of your keyboard. What are the elements of Visual Basic controls? Very well said. For activity number 1, number your paper 1 to 5, read the statement carefully and then write true or false. For activity number 2, you have to match column A with column B. Write your answer before the number. For activity number 3, you have to fill in the missing parts of a form. For activity number 4, you have to supply the missing properties, methods that you may use for the given sample object. And for your assignment, you have to explain or define the graphical user interface. For your hands-on activity, you have to open Visual Basic application, create at least 4 controls like the buttons, labels, text box, and checkbox. Save it with the file name myform app. Do you have an idea of what will be our topic for the next lesson? We will study or explore how to create graphical user interface or how to apply methods and events using the properties window, make enabled or active controls through the use of property window of Window Forms application. I hope that you learned the lesson today. Thank you for your cooperation and participation. Bye.